Hi, this is Memorial Hike for Mike highlights with 2 cams in Berry County, Michigan on 9/9/22 with a backwards cam capture. This video was shot in Berry County, Michigan at the Middleville State Game Area where all the encounters happened when Mike was taken. The boy Mike was taken in 1977. This particular spot in this video is the area that we want to spread the juvenile Sasquatch Mike's ashes. I go here every year on the same date on Labor Day when the juvenile Sasquatch was shot. In this video I'm using 2 GoPro Hero 10s, one facing forward and one facing backwards. Where we spread Mike's ashes. So after some time after the body was recovered by the government, the hand that was chopped off was cremated and given to a couple of the local tribal elders. They came by and picked me up and did a ceremony while spreading the ashes and the grounds that they thought he was from. And this is the exact area where that happened. Hey guys, what you doing? You hiding from me in there? Hey guys, what you doing? You hiding from me in there? And this was the first of many times they would come pick me up in John's little red 1977 Jeep J10 Comanche pickup truck with a standard bench seat with a stick shift where I had to sit in the middle everywhere we went. That was fun. Well, this trip with the removed hand that was cremated in the ashes, and we had our ceremony, was I think it was the first of many trips, and I can't even tell you what time frame it was, how many months it was or weeks after all the other incidents. As much as I try to remember, I can't remember exactly when this happened. And there was other times after that they came and picked me up and they would take me to other local tribes in Michigan, pretty much going north of where I live and all the way up to the UP, and they were telling them exactly what happened with my encounter and everything they knew and found out about Sasquatch. In one particular trip I remember, we went all the way up to the UP, which, I live in southwest Michigan. That's a long drive. We went all the way up to Sault Ste. Marie, up to Mission Hill, which is a battleground site for the Indians. Now, the local Potawatomi tribe here split up in several fractions and kept on moving farther north as the white man progressed in from the south, way back in the day. They took me there to see the tribes. They took me to that burial ground. They wouldn't even let me go in the burial ground because I wasn't a full-blooded Indian, and probably more Italian than anything. And they didn't like that much because of Christopher Columbus. So at some point early on, they had the hypnotherapist add in something that was a suggestive word that could, I don't know how it worked, become suggestive, and they can make me forget easier. They used wild men of the woods in their own native language, and they would hypnotize me every time we went on a trip with that, and it was quite frequent. We went to a lot of different tribes, and I don't know exactly how long this went on. My dad told me before he died it was quite a number of times, but it was like on a Friday, and he died on a Monday. I didn't get to go back to talk to him and ask any more questions. Funny side note that I'll get into it sometime later when I put all this together from Strawberry Lake to Morris Lake and everything in between, and quite a bit after the encounters like I'm getting into right now. I've got a lot more to go over. When I remembered this stuff, all this stuff, and I went to go find these agents and these Native Americans, I found most of them. And they were pretty surprised. One of them tried using that wild men of the woods thing to see if it still worked. That hadn't worked since I was 13 years old, Joe. But he tried to lie to me and said it wasn't him, and his face really told the whole different story, and he had his ID sticking out of his front pocket, and I could see his name. But he still lied to me. A lot of the agents that I found, and I found them all. One of them passed away just after I found him, but I tried to be nice, and I tried to talk to him, and they just pretending like I didn't exist, which really kind of pissed me off. Now, one of the things they would tell these other tribes, they would go through my encounter and tell them what happened and the body that they recovered. The body was pretty important because it was the fifth body that the government had found, but it was the most complete body. So they told them it was a Neanderthal. They told them also that the second vertebrae in their neck, most of the skeletons that were made early on added one too many vertebrae in their neck. So the second vertebrae in their neck is one too many in the skeletons you're looking at, and their head actually sits a little bit lower. Most of the other stuff I don't remember. I just remember the details of those because they repeated it so many times in front of me when we went to go meet these different tribes when I was a kid. And these other tribes are really cool. They're, told me to come back and visit them when I remembered. They knew I was going to get hypnotized to forget all of this. And unfortunately, now that I remembered, it's 40 years later, and, they're elders back then. Most of them have passed now, and they didn't pass down this information, or they're just saying they didn't pass down this information because I've talked to a lot of these tribes, and they just pretend like they don't know who I am. Okay, and like I said, I'm going to make a video when I get the art done that's going to contain Strawberry Lake, Morris Lake monsters, and beyond that, because the local tribe members showed up and interacted in my life for several years, up until I was about 13. And I'll get into all the details in that pretty soon in that video. Well, here I got, the backwards and the forwards cam. I'm not seeing anything, but there's some shadows. And I gotta watch these shadows here. And I don't know if I can see anything. I think I see something and I whistle at it. But up in the clearing here, the backwards camera is gonna pick something up here. So if you see something in the woods, they gotta be somewhere up here watching me. Or they already heard me and they're hiding by the time I get up to this clearing up here. But hold on a second, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Directly in front of me, somewhere up in that brush, behind the brush that has leaves in it up there, is where they're hiding. But you can't see them from this angle. I don't see them at all, really. I didn't see them until I watched the footage, and the back camera picked up a little bit of their faces. I'll show you here. Well, in case you didn't know, Sasquatch could cloak by using infrasound, by disturbing light waves with sound waves at a really low frequency base. This is a really good example. And they stir up the shadows around them and almost make themselves almost disappear into the shadows. Here, I'll show you. Okay, the first one is harder to see, and red is the subject, and red is also his eyes. And note, this isn't a failure by the GoPro Hero 10. It's far too close, far too well lit, and it doesn't do it anywhere else, ever in the entire hike, or since I've had the camera. Just in that spot. Guessing the blue is possible hiding young, but there's nothing real distinctive about it to say, hey, up there's an eye and a nose in that one. I'm just guessing mom's over the top of the young. Now here up with the right, there's one standing in that circle there, and you can see the eyes and the nose relatively clearly. But I went to the lengths of turning it into black and white here also, so you can see a little bit better and blocking everything else out. Here in red are the eyes. Here in red is the nose. And that's all you can see is the eyes and the nose, the forehead. Reflection of the eyes, and when I move, you get this a little bit right here. Right here you can see a little bit different angle of the face. Green there. And there's the eyes in red. And that subject ducks out of sight. Here's one in black and white. Moves as soon as I move. Now to my left, that tree line there is a place they often hide. That's why I got to the clearing and I faced my backwards camera towards that tree line. Hopefully, playing dumb and maybe they'd make a move or something like that and be seen a little bit. They did, but not enough yet. I want more. I want where they get up and open a little bit more. Walking along this tree line here, I'm trying to casually look over there, but I'm not seeing anything. And it's still pretty thick in there to my left at areas, and with the sun shining on there the way it is, it makes it really easy for them to conceal themselves in the shadows in there. Again, I'm getting in this little bit of woods here, and there's quite a bit of brush. I'm trying to scan around and see if anything's laying low underneath this brush. I don't see anything, but I'm not going to show you this whole hike through the woods. I'm going to turn around and go back over to the pines, and I'll show you that little bit of an area here. Now here with a backwards camera, the sun's just really being a problem, along with the length of the grass and the goldenrod there, hiding anything that's in that woods there behind me, at least on this angle that I'm walking. The pines we stayed in. We camped. I'm cutting ahead a little bit just to show you these pines that we stayed in. This is where my childhood encounter got to the point to where we came back and we were going to camp with the two boys we found in the woods, and we got back too late. It was getting dark, it was dusk, and we couldn't find our trail to get back to the other camp. There's a trail that loops around in here that goes right back to where it starts from, and we ended up on that trail. So we set up camp in these pines and made do for the night, and we figured we'd find our friends in the morning. But that isn't exactly what happened. We got the tent set up. We're in the tent for maybe a half an hour at most, and we started hearing Russell, the older boy, screaming for the other boy, Mike. And since I was with my friend Mike, there being two Mikes, we thought they were playing a joke on us. We really did, until we heard these other sounds. The other blood-curdling screams from the boy and the Sasquatch making all sorts of weird noises that we've never heard. We weren't too sure if it was real or not, but we decided to get out of there, and we left all our gear right then and there, our tent and everything. We got on our bikes and held our flashlights on our bike handles as we rode back to my house, and it must have been about 11:30, and my parents were still like watching the news, and the Tonight Show was coming on, and you know, they made fun of us chickening out, coming back early, and we went to bed. Still thinking, well, those guys probably played a real good joke on us, but you know, when we got back to get our gear in the mornings, and when we found it wasn't a joke, and there was the Channel 13 news crew there, and a search crew with police and volunteers with bullhorns and people on horses looking for this boy Mike that they did eventually find later that day without any clothes. He was unharmed, but he was terrified. And more on that and the full-length version that I'm going to work on here of this whole story. I'm going to have the Strawberry Lake, the Morris Lake Monsters, this woods incident, and the barn, everything in it. Still working on it, doing the art. It's taking forever. Well, I've got plenty more footage of where I go deeper into the woods here on a hike, and I'll save that for another video because I went through it all and I didn't really see anything. I'll go through it one more time. If I find something, I'll post it. But it doesn't look like they follow me. They just watched me go by in that one clearing area and probably just ducked out.
Not the goldenrod. That doesn't smell good. That made me sneeze. I have to make shortcut trails every once in a while. I don't know where these guys are hiding tonight. Maybe the bang bang's going on there. Moved elsewhere. They must always give me some sort of sign. Not always. I don't think they're always here. I'm the exact same spot I happen to be in.
After they saw me go back into the woods, they know my routine. They know when I come here. They might even just stayed out there and watched me, and I didn't even know. So when I come out of the woods here and I go across this opening in this field, I'm not looking up enough at the woods over to my right. So I didn't see anything, and it doesn't look like the backwards camera picked up anything in the woods either. They probably just, took off after I went into the woods. Now here, the backwards camera is hampered by the tall grasses. It almost looks like something is along that tree line watching me leave, but really couldn't find anything real distinctive there. I'll let you watch this.
Goodbye, Sammy. Mike. Guess her family up here ain't gonna say hi to me. Bye, guys.
I'm checking out that tree line way off in the distance there.
I see you in there hiding.
Little dark shadows in the bottom. Sometimes they pop their faces out
What's
there.
you doing?
I can see them with my eyes. The camera's not picking it up.
And I'm probably seeing shit.
Now in this backward shot, are they anywhere in that brush behind me? Are they watching me leave? I don't know. There's a couple spots where it looks like there's definitely some dark areas, but I'm not sure. Anyway, guys, I got a lot more videos I got to work on here. I'm going to have quite a few more. I'm way behind. Hey, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel. Appreciate it.